Show. I'm Jordan Klepper. We got so much to talk about tonight. Donald Trump is looking for a new vice president. Kendrick and Drake are at war. And bring your dogs in the house at night because Kristi Noem is on the loose. So, let's get into headlines. Let's kick things off right here in New York City, where week 3 of the Donald Trump hush money trial kicked off with a stern warning for the defendant-in-chief.
We just got that decision from the judge on whether or not Donald Trump has, in fact, violated his gag order again. And the judge has decided that, yes, Donald Trump has now violated it for the 10th time. And he said going forward, if Donald Trump violates it again, he will consider jail time.
You've done it now, Donald. If you violate that gag order for an 11th time, the judge is going to really consider jail time. I mean, he's strongly contemplating the possibility of consequences for your actions. Oh, just one more chance. Look, I get that no judge wants to throw a former president into the slammer, but Donald Trump has the mind of a toddler. If there's one thing a toddler understands, it's that when mom and dad start counting like 9, 9 and a half, 9 3/4, the brat has already won. Whether Trump is thrown in jail for a few days over the gag order or thrown in jail for a few years for the hush money scandal, he's still going to be the next president. So, let's get into the latest news in our ongoing... Look at the polls, everybody. Let's get into the latest news in our ongoing coverage of Indecision 2024. Right now, the presidential race is all about the Veep stakes. And over the weekend, everyone desperate to be Trump's running mate gathered in Mar-a-Lago for a classic Trump beauty pageant.
There are a lot of special guests that are on Donald Trump's shortlist for VP. And Donald Trump today at Mar-a-Lago during that fundraiser actually called a series of them up on stage and praised them.
About Senator Tim Scott, he said, as a surrogate, he's unbelievable. On Congressman Michael Waltz, a man that knows more about the military. When I want to know about the military, I call him. Kristi Noem, somebody that I love. Senator Mike Lee, I love your haircut, and he's a good man too. Representative Hunt makes the best commercials. Congressman Byron Donalds, I like diversity. Diversité, as you would say, I like diversité.
Wow. Subtle. Byron Donalds, I like diversité. What a clever way to say that he's black and maybe French? I don't know. Diversité sounds like the name of a stripper Trump once slept with. I have no evidence of that, of course, maybe because he paid her that hush money. But some VP candidates are showing more hustle than others. Like, a lot of them denied the 2020 election results, but Senator Tim Scott was on TV this weekend pre-denying this year's election results.
Will you commit to accepting the election results of 2024? Bottom line.
Well, at the end of the day, the 47th president of the United States will be President Donald Trump, and I'm excited to get back to low inflation, low unemployment.
Wait,
and
Senator, yes or no? Yes or no? Will you accept the election results of 2024 no matter who wins?
That is my statement.
But is it just yes or no? Will you accept the election results of 2024?
I look forward to President Trump being the 47th president. Kristen, you could ask him multiple times.
Senator, just a yes or no answer.
So the American people will make the decision.
But I don't hear you committing
for President Trump. That's clear.
This is how humiliating it is to be on Trump's team. Normal questions become trick questions. Do you accept the election results? Should you look directly into an eclipse? This is not a hard question. It's like when the band comes out and says, "Are you ready to party?" Just say yes and enjoy Imagine Dragons like a responsible adult. Come on. Of course. One of the top contenders for Trump's VP is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She's got MAGA credentials, she's got executive experience, she's got Fox News anchor face. If you ask me, the race is hers to lose. There's really nothing she could do to ruin her chances.
A governor thought to be a contender for Donald Trump's running mate this November is responding to the backlash over a story in her new book. It's a story about shooting her puppy.
Okay, maybe that might hurt her chances. I'm not a political expert, but I think if I had to give a politician advice, I would say the top thing is to not shoot your puppy. The second top thing would be to not write about shooting your puppy. Look, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she has a good reason.
In the book, Noem says she shot and killed her 14-month-old puppy named Cricket for bad behavior.
Noem describes leading the 14-month-old dog to a gravel pit to be shot after concluding it was less than worthless, untrainable, and aggressive.
As a mom, I made a choice between protecting my children and protecting them from a dangerous animal that was killing livestock.
Noem posting this response on X saying, "We love animals, but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm."
That is not an excuse, Kristi Noem. You can't just go around executing puppies and say, well, that's life on a farm. It's a farm, not international waters. And for bad behavior, I mean, even Cruella de Vil is like, Jesus, at least I was making a coat. Was there really nothing else that could have been done with a misbehaving puppy? Training, medication. I mean, worst case, send the dog to a nice family upstate. That's what my parents said they did with my dog when I was a kid. And he still sends me a birthday card every year. How cool is that? Now, Kristi Noem's defense is that she had no choice because the dog was untrainable and a danger. Although if you read her book, the carnage doesn't stop there.
You put it in a part of a chapter called Bad Day to Be a Goat. And then after you shot the dog, you, quote, realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. Walking back up to the yard, I spotted our billy goat.
What did the goat do? It sounds like she saw it and was like, well, I can't leave any witnesses. She could. She could have. Yeah. I mean, come on. She could have at least given the goat an opportunity to prove its loyalty. Like, here's the gun, you shoot the dog. Don't forget, nobody forced her to tell anybody these stories. These are the stories she chose to tell to seem tough for the MAGA base. In this book, by the way, was No Going Back supposed to be the title? Or was that what her editors said when they read this section? Are you sure you want this in? There's no going back. I mean, what were the alternate titles? For God's sake, don't include this. Not sure if you're kidding, LOL. Were you hacked? I don't know. And by the way, Noem is not letting up on this. In fact, not only is she willing to shoot her dog and goat, now she wants to shoot other dogs, too.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is not backing down, defending her decision to shoot her own dog, now implying President Joe Biden's dog Commander, which no longer lives in the White House after several biting incidents, should be put down. She reportedly writes that the first thing she would do if she got to the White House is make sure Joe Biden's dog was nowhere on the grounds. Commander, say hello to Cricket.
Dear Lord, this woman has a taste for dog blood. It's like she thought all dogs go to heaven was a personal challenge. Why? Why is she going so hard on dog killing? Can cats vote now? What, did I miss that? For more on this, we go live to Kristi Noem's ranch with our own Michael Kosta. Michael, how is Noem's team reacting to this story?
They're not worried at all, Jordan. This story might upset the coastal elites, but Noem's people are confident that real Americans understand that this is just life on the farm.
Was that a gunshot I just heard?
Yeah, it was, city boy, you know? Where do you think your chicken comes from? It comes from blindfolding the birds, leading them into a gravel pit, giving them a last cigarette, and shooting them in the back of the head. Also, you can stuff your face on 10-cent wing night. It's how we feed America.
Okay, yeah, I think we all understand that death is a part of our food system. What's disturbing is how thoughtlessly Governor Noem treats her animals.
Yeah, but Noem's team says that's a real advantage in politics. You want a leader who can make hard decisions about the budget without being preoccupied about whether the kids are going to be hungry because they don't get a school lunch.
I'm sorry. Was that a cow being choked?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Reality check for you left coast soy boys, all right? This is how your steak gets to the supermarket. Do you think it magically falls from the sky, shrink-wrapped? No. Governor Kristi Noem sneaks up behind each cow individually with a piece of piano wire and wraps it tightly around their neck, saying, shh, let it happen, let it happen. It's simple, honest farm work, Jordan.
Okay. Okay. I'll admit I have no idea what that sound was.
Well, if you got out of your media bubble once in a while, you would know that pork is produced when an unsuspecting pig gets into his mid-sized sedan, starts it up, and it explodes. But does Kristi Noem get any thanks for rigging up the C4? Well, not from the New York City brunch crowd.
Okay, Michael, look, I don't accept this explanation. I think the average rural American treats their animals with more respect than Kristi Noem is saying they do. What was that?
Well, let me guess. You think your mailman meat just grows on trees?
Okay, I guess not. Michael Kosta, everybody.